Hello, my name is Wanda. I channel love energy and I've been doing it for a few years now. So I've allowed myself to be a host to Universal Love. That's what we'll say. I'm a host to Universal Love. Okay. As odd as that sounds, it's the truth. So if you watch these videos, there's lots, maybe 600. So if you want to press subscribe, you'll know when I put the videos up on YouTube. There's also a Facebook page called Messages of Love from Beyond. Okay, so I'll say goodbye at the end. Are you familiar with these blocks that come up in your life consistently? They appear to be the same. You'd call them stumbling blocks, mental blocks, something like this. But they consistently come up regularly, and they often feel as if they're the same thing. Typically, you have the same reaction, which is, uh-oh, don't go there, turn around and go in a different direction, you see, and try to put it out of your mind. Forget about that, forget about that. We're going to go over here and do something different, completely different. This is the natural tendency of humans to turn away from pain. It makes logical sense. If you were being, if something physically was going to fall on top of your head, you would move away from it. So you have learned this from a small one. Be careful, you get hit with something. So now you do it for emotional triggers, this kind of thing. You say, uh-oh, I better get out of here before I get hurt. This applies, of course, to physical items, but we would wonder if you would take a suggestion from non-physical and have a look at it a little more. Instead of having that quick reaction, let's get out of here before I get hurt. Perhaps you could sit around and have a look around it. Walk around and around it, maybe. Stand back a little bit if you like. Say, oh, you smell like this. Your color is this. I feel like this. And just walk around and around as if you are observing something from another world. Just say that perhaps. Perhaps a big rock fell from the sky. And now you're curious about it. So you're going to walk around and around and around and just look at it. It seems harmless when you're looking at it. You come to understand that perhaps this thing is outside of you and you have invited it in emotionally. Perhaps it's not real. Perhaps it's not really a threat to you. Perhaps it just is what it is. Vibrational energy that's trapped inside of a negative emotion. What about that? Do you think possibly it could be just that? Now, we say just because we wish you to bring it down a few notches, because in your mind you've got this idea that this thing will destroy you and you're trying to get away from it. So that creates a great amount of opposing energy, you see? So you run away from it. But we are just suggesting that maybe it's not as bad as you think. Perhaps it's just energy. Perhaps it's a memory. Perhaps it's a triggered response that you've had over and over that may not apply this moment any longer. Perhaps it could be a foreign item and you're just going to walk around it. So we're going to say this thing that you're afraid of, that you wish to destroy before it destroys you or run really fast away from it. Now you're walking around it, looking at it. You've seen what it smells like, what color it is, what emotion it's evoked in you. And now perhaps you should just sit on top of it and think for a moment. What if you just sit on it? Sit on the rock and look around. What is going on around here? There's some sky, maybe there's some birds, you see some grass, there's wind, perhaps you smell something, flowers maybe. What about that now? Now you're sitting on this thing that has caused you anxiety before, and now you're just sitting on it, looking around at the rest of the world, the rest of your life. Perhaps you can just sit on it. Now this time when you get up and you look at it, you'll say, oh, you're just an ordinary rock, it looks like. For sitting, for standing. Perhaps you could decorate with it. You might be able to draw your name on it. This is my rock. What if it were something like this? What if the next time you're triggered, you look at it this way, get your marker ready or your chalk, and draw something pretty on it. Oh, this must be my rock. I'm going to decorate it and make it mine. It's a bit more light, isn't it? It's a bit more easy. It takes off the tension, you see. Now, after a while, perhaps there'll be a whole field of flowers and decorated rocks with happy faces and stars and maybe your initials on it. Now, what if you have a field full of interesting rocks that you have claimed as your own? It seems pretty easy, doesn't it? Perhaps your energetic response is not necessary anymore. Perhaps it's just this easy type thing. What about that? Perhaps it's time for you to reconsider what these blocks are. There is much love here for you. Namaste. That's kind of funny. They call that the sort of electronic stuff electronica, and this is kind of funny because that was my 87-year-old mother who accidentally presses buttons sometimes. And then when I say, hi, Mom, she goes, oh, I didn't call you. I'm like, I think you did. She goes, I know. I don't know what you mean. But anyway, that's my mom. And now she's on YouTube. So of course they do, not of course, but often they take this like traumatic, awful thing that we've designed as so and made it so and turned it around to something funny. Like, what if you draw happy faces on the rocks that you consider your like such a stressful thing that you want to run from it or hide from it or get away from it? Well, perhaps that will work. I just don't know, but often they bring up certainly new ideas. Maybe it's the same old thing all the time, just like phrased in a different way. I don't really know, but I kind of like the idea of all the rocks that you have a whole field full with, like, because I do like to use chalk and decorate things, and I like to use erasable markers. I draw pretty things too. Bye.